Good day, everyone. My name is John Leonard C. Bscrim, and we are the Group 4. Our topic for today is graphology. Graphology is the study and analysis of handwriting to assess the writer's traits or personality. Real handwriting experts are known as forensic document examiner, not as graphologists. Yun daw, yung tawag daw dun sa real handwriting expert, hindi daw graphologist, kundi forensic document examiner. Yung forensic document examiner daw, they examine handwriting to detect authenticity or forgery. Yun, sila yun. Handwriting analysis is referred to as graphology. Yun, yung handwriting analysis, graphology. Tapos yung handwriting expert, hindi graphologist, ang tawag na ay forensic document examiner. Tapos handwriting may also be regarded as brainwriting. Yung graphologists examines loop, dotted i's, and crossed t's, letter spacing, slants, heights, ending strokes, etc. But they believe that such handwriting minutiae are physical manifestation of unconscious mental function. Si Mr. Raman Lapas, siya yung graphologist who has been involved in handwriting analysis for the last 20 years. Sinabi ni Mr. Raman Lapas, the movement of the hand is governed by your brain. It's mental, it's physical, it's emotional. All these things integrate during the act of handwriting. This gives you a picture of who the individual is. Graphology. Graphology is claimed to be useful for everything from understanding health issues, morality, and past experiences to hidden talents and mental problems. Graphology is another pipe dream of those who want quick and dirty decision-making process to tell them who to marry, who did the crime, who they should hire, what career they should seek, where the good hunting is, where the water, oil, or buried treasure is, etc. Graphology is one of these pseudosciences. Undertakes to determine the varied qualities and attributes of human personality and even a human character from handwriting alone. Historical background. The first treatise on the subject appeared as early as 1622. Efforts at graphological systematization began in 1872 with the work the French Abbe Hippolyte Michon, who gave graphology its name. Yun daw, yung nagbigay daw sa graphology ng kanyang pangalan ay si Michon. Tapos si Michon at Jules Crepioux Hamin, they developed the so-called School of Isolated Signs, which attempted to relate specific handwriting elements to specific human traits. Yan daw, yung specific handwriting, sila daw yung nag-relate sa human traits. Alfred Binet, a French psychologist who had conducted graphological experiments, was convinced that graphology had potential as a technique for personality testing. si Ludwig Leges, ano naman pasa doon, a German philosopher in 1940 who advanced the hypothesis that handwriting is an expressive movement, similar to gesture, gait, and facial expression. Si Max Pulver naman ay yung Swiss graphologist who extended Leges' investigation to the analysis of another writing dimension, yung depth. Siya din yung studied the decorative flourishes in handwriting and attempted to interpret them as symbol in accordance with the theory of psychoanalysis. Tapos si June Downey naman, yung psychologist who conducted pioneering experiments based on Clade's rhythm theory. At by 1940, a somewhat closer alliance had developed between psychologists and graphologists for research purposes.
Graphology. Handwriting consists of measurable elements such as slant and size and descriptive elements such as letter form and tendencies to the right and left. Space between the words. Space between the words is done deliberate when we write the words follow one another as they do in speech. Directions of lines. Instruction in writing has usually insisted in writing in straight lines. Deviation from writing in a straight line are not the exception but more the norm. Fatigue can be considered a reason for descending lines may be caused by depression or pessimism. Ascending lines may indicate optimism. People who write in convex line ascend then descends. Start their project with ambition and enthusiasm only to lose interest and give up before the task has been completed. People who write in with concave lines descends then ascends. Approach their task with a little optimism but gain self-confidence as their task near completion. Body image. Person's body is projected in his writing. His left side is to the right and his right side is to his left. The pen is the pen is writing. The appearance of handwriting is in some extent relevant to the pen you use, but the same person with the same pen never writes the letter or word twice in exactly the same way. Space between lines. The space between the lines is probably deliberate planned. The space between the lines can be described as the picture of the writer's mind. A person who writes with wide space lines may live a life of the order and system. Small spaces between the lines may indicate a person who likes to be around other people. Overlapping lines may indicate a person who suffers from emotional or mental disorder. If the person may indicate if the lower sum descend in the following lines, upper zone, it may indicate a person who has strong sexual impulse. The margins. Left margins are deliberately chosen. Only a few cases is in the right margin chosen with such purpose. The width of the left margin might be indicative of the distance we wish to maintain to other people. Wide left margins are often in handwriting of proud or shy people. Many graphologists take the assumption that upper margins are determined by outside influences such as letterhead. No margin is indicative of a person who wants no distance between other people. White margins are indicative of a withdrawn person. The slant. It may be said by some that the right slant is the normal slant. It may be also perceived that whoever writes from left to right naturally uses the right slant. Left slant writing is seen more often in women than in the men. Left slant writers are generally much closer to their mothers. Upright slant is found in people who are very independent in life. Upright hands are very rare. The right slant is the most common and most natural slant. It is found in people in a hurry, impatient people, and active writer. Pressure in writing. Primary pressure. The primary against the paper, it may indicates our strength and vitality. Secondary pressure. The pressure against the pen holder, it indicates our aims and inner conviction. Genuine pressure. It appears naturally. Forced pressure. Looks forced, even cries out. Extreme added pressure. Often seen in hands of criminal. Pressureless writing. Often seen in the hands of feminine writers. Zones. Upper zones. Show what writer thinks, how they think, what they strive for imagination, pride and ethical ideas. Lower zone. Harbors manifestation of things not yet known to the writer. Middle zone. The writer's daily routine is shown. The social behavior relation for presence and rejection.
Symmetry is a yardstick of the writer's inner balance and development. It is used to establish style value. When the upper zone are strongly developed, we are dealing with a person of intelligence and ambition. If the middle zone is strongly developed, this is a person whose sentimental and sensitivity and concern for themselves are likely to result in emotional pain. If the lower zone is overdeveloped, we are dealing with a writer who is over-concerned with money. Yun nga, ang symmetry ay isang sukatan ng mga manunulat upang mabalanse at ma-develop ang kanilang mahusay na proportion. Legibility is a measure of the writer's sense of purposefulness. Legible handwriters make good teachers and speakers. They are sincere and cooperative. Size of letters. The size of a letter is indicative of the writer's self-reliance. Letter may extend in four directions: up, down, right, or left. It may also be tall or wide. Tall capitals are people who tower above the rest. Tall initial come from impressive people. Small capitals are people who are modest in nature. Wide letters are extroverted people. Narrow letters come from loners. Connection of letters shows the writer's attitude toward others. They're mainly used link in writing. Garland, arcades, angels. Deep garland indicate people who take things too tragically. And close garlands are people who tend to be calculating. Flat garlands tend to come from the practical businessman. Square garlands tend to come from narrow-minded people. Supported garlands come from people who emotionally support in life. General arcades show people who rely on instinct. High arcades show artistic gift. Low arcade show hypocrisy. General angles show people who have contradiction in feelings. Space between letters show the intent the writer relies upon their own intuition. When all letters are connected, it indicates a person with logical and systematical thinking. When only some letters are connected, it shows an artistic and intuitive thinker. When most letters are unconnected, it shows a person who is an egocentric. Lack of end stroke indicate a sharp person. When the first letter stand apart, it shows a caution person. Space of writing. Specific space furnish us with a variety of human characteristics. Spontaneous writing. Ambition, activity, instability, restlessness, impatient, quick thinking. Unspontaneous writing. Inflexive, caution, sluggish, platter, and skimmer. Concealing stroke. There are two interpretations of concealing stroke: inhibition and insincerity. are the basic meaning of the concealing stroke. In the first letter, frustrated ambition. In upper zone, secretive. In the middle zone, emotional delusion. In garland, shyness. In arcades, screwed. In angels, trickster.
Be advised that these are not definitive interpretation by any means because there are over 30 different system of graphology in existence. Yung mga larawan po tayo makikita ng iba't ibang uri ng stroke. Ang una po ay aggressiveness. Hard right ending upstroke that replace a lower loop. The higher the one cross, the more self-esteem and competitiveness. Domineering or sarcastic, downward slanted, inverted, V-shape means stubborn, antisocial, slanted writing 110 degrees, word crowding gaps between letter large, lowercase letter anywhere. Lying, inner loops inside the loops, extra loops, retouching or retracing. Contrast word, undeveloped lower loops or retracted lower loops. Angry or frustrated, sharp beginning, stroke, and incomplete lower loops. Jealous, little closed loops, big upper loops. The more rounded, the more independent. Lower loop usually means perversion. At lazy, procrastination, if one cross is predominantly to let self-consciousness, if bumps in letter sensitiveness, criticism of big hoops and low crosses. Graphology system tend to be on three types. Number 1, those based on individual letter formation. Number 2, those based on stroke analysis. Number 3, those based on a holistic Gestalt method. There's some precedent in art therapy and projective psychological testing for graphology. Precedent, ito ay aksyon na itinuturing bilang isang halimbawa o patnubay na isinasalang-alang sa kasunod na magkatulad na mga pangyayari. Unit 2, Calligraphy and Cacography. Calligraphy from the Greek meaning beautiful writing is the art of fine handwriting. Ito ay sining ng isang sulat kamay. Paleography, the study of ancient writing, is concerned both with calligraphy and with inscription on stone, bone, metal, or other hard surfaces. In the Far East, calligraphy is produced by means of pointed brush held vertically. In Western and Islamic culture, calligraphic writing is accomplished by using a broad-edged reed, quill, or nib pen held aslant. Ang pag-aaral ng sinaunang pagsusulat ay nababahala kapwa sa calligraphy at sa inscription sa bato, buto, metal, o iba pang matitigas na bagay. In Far East naman po, ang kaligrafiya ay ginawa sa pamamagitan ng isang matulis na brush na gagawin patayo. At sa Western and Islamic cultures, ang pagsulat ay nagagawa sa pamamagitan ng paggamit ng isang malapad na tambo or nib pen na gaganapin sa isang slant. Calligraphic terms, ascender, refers to the portion of letter that rises above the waistline. Ito ay tumutukoy sa bahagi ng liham or sulat sa itaas ng waistline. ascender line refers to the guideline showing the height of ascending letter. Ito ay tumutukoy sa patnubay na nagpapakita ng taas ng isang pataas na titik. Baseline refers to the rating line that the body of letter sits upon. Ito ay tumutukoy sa linya ng pagsulat na inuupuan ng katawan ng isang liham. Branching stroke refers to the stroke which connect an arc to the down stroke of a letter. Ito ay tumutukoy sa stroke na nag-uugnay sa isang arko sa downstroke ng isang liham. Cap line refers to the guideline showing the height of a capital letter. Ito ay tumutukoy sa patnubay na nagpapakita ng taas ng isang malaking titik. Counter, it is the white space inside a letter. Tumutukoy ito sa puting puwang sa loob ng isang letra. Crossbar refers to the horizontal stroke forming part of a letter such as T or H. Tumutukoy sa pahalang na stroke na bumubuo ng bahagi ng isang titik tulad ng T or H. Descender refers to the portion of a letter that falls below the baseline. Tumutukoy sa bahagi ng isang liham na nahuhulog sa ilalim ng nakabatay na linya. Downstroke, it is the stroke directed downwards toward the baseline or descender line. Ito ay isang stroke na kadirekta pababa patungo sa nakabatay na linya o linya ng paglapag. Ductus refers to the number, direction, and sequence of the stroke which make up a letter. Tumutukoy sa bilang o direction at pagkakasunod-sunod ng stroke na bumubuo sa isang titik. Flourish. It is non-structural embellishment added to a letter. Ang flourish, ito ay di-strukturang dekorasyon na dinadagdag sa isang liham. Hairline refers to a very thin line. Tumutukoy sa isang manipis na linya. Majuscule refers to a capital letter or uppercase letter. Ito naman ay tumutukoy sa malaking titik o titik sa itaas. Minuscule refers to a lowercase letter. Ito naman ay tumutukoy sa maliit na titik pababa. Nib, it is a pen point. Ito ay tumutukoy sa punto ng panulat. Nib width refers to the width of any broad edge tool. Tumutukoy sa lapad ng anumang tool na malawak sa gilid. Pen angle refers to an angle at which the nib meets paper relative to the baseline. Ito naman ay tumutukoy sa anggulo kung saan natutugunan ng nib ang papel na may kaugnay sa nakabatay na linya. Serif refers to a small stroke which begin or ends letter or a part of a letter. Tumutukoy sa isang maliit na stroke na nagsisimula o nagtatapos sa isang letra ng isang bahagi ng liham. Slant refers to a slope of a letter measured from the vertical. Ito naman ay tumutukoy sa slope ng isang letra sinusukat mula sa patayo. Slant line refers to the guideline showing the correct slant. Ito naman ay tumutukoy sa patnubay ng nagpapakita ng tamang slant. Spacing, meron po tayong 4 na spacing. Una po ay counter space, refers to the space inside a letter. Interletter space refers to the space between letters. Interword space refers to the space between words. At interlinear space refers to to the space between lines of writing. Sumunod naman po, ang thick refers to a heavy, blunt stroke. Tumutukoy sa isang mabigat or mapurol na stroke. Thin refers to a fine stroke, sometimes called hairline. Waistline refers to the guideline showing the correct position for the upper boundary of the X site. Ito naman ay tumutukoy sa patnubay na nagpapakita ng tamang posisyon para sa itaas na hangganan ng X site. X site refers to the height of a letter or the portioning of a letter that sits between the baseline and the waistline. Cacography is defined as a handwriting or bad spelling. It derives from the Greek graphos, writing prefix with the kakos, bad noises. Cacography, ito ay tumutukoy bilang masamang pagsulat ng kamay o hindi mabaybay. Orthography, ito naman ay opposite of cacography. It means correct spelling. Kabaligtaran naman ito ng cacography. Nangangahulugan na ng wastong baybay. Cacographer, someone who exhibit either failing. At yun lamang po, marami pong salamat.